What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Beers
and Breakdowns.
Tom's here.
Hey, surprise.
Surprise. So Tom's here for the seminar. We got the seminar tomorrow. Pretty awesome. Picked up our rough trainer today. It's been a pretty badass couple days.
Yeah.
Now we're going to knock out some beers and breakdowns. So on this episode of Beers and Breakdowns, we're doing Zero Dark 30. I'm just going to go ahead and advance and apologize because, well, I don't research anything. And this movie has a ton to unpack. And if you guys have watched Beers and Breakdowns in the past, you know that I get a ton of things wrong. Like GBRS instead of GRS. I don't give a fuck also.
You weren't one of them.
I wasn't one of them. So the fact that I don't know doesn't bother me. But it bothers a lot of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Because you hit the old Googles. And then you get real mad at the comment section.
Well, the problem is like we're not Googling while we're doing this.
Right.
So everything we say is just straight out of the ass. So
Yeah.
it's...
I could care less.
Whatever.
We're drinking beers.
We're drinking beers and having a good time.
That's what it's all about. Somebody said that in the comments in the PSYOP video. They're like, you guys don't get it. These guys are having a good time, drinking beers, talking about the video.
And just so happens the camera's on.
Right. And just as the camera's on and you guys are taking this way too serious. And like, okay, at least somebody gets it.
Right.
We're here to have fun, not to hit you with facts. If we're going to hit you with facts, we definitely wouldn't be slamming IPAs while we're doing it. But that being said, I do have a couple books that I actually read 10 years ago that pertain to this movie. And we will get to these books when they apply. I guess the first one kind of applies right away, and that's The Black Banners. So The Black Banners is a book about an FBI agent. His whole thing was going in with empathy and compassion and understanding the Quran and using their religion to get them to kind of freely give information. And according to him, he found more success doing that, which is understandable. I remember it being a great book, but this is 10 years ago that I read this. So this kind of goes into the movie, and why this movie is so controversial is because it shows an aspect of using torture to gain intelligence.
But I think a lot of the controversy was, is it giving you actionable or quality intelligence, right? Because people are going to say whatever it takes to say, whatever they have to say to make it stop.
Right.
So whether or not it's quality intelligence or not, I think that's where a lot of, you know, the actual controversy around the whole enhanced interrogation techniques came from.
There was no shame if you want to watch from the monitor. Well, I want to put this on.
You're not wearing one? Is he ever getting out?
Never. Let's go.
So right away I saw that and was like, never? We've had plenty of prisoner exchanges where high-level, you know, Taliban have gotten let free.
Yeah.
So I would never count on, you know, a terrorist not getting out.
This is also like early on too, before a lot of that happened. So I'm sure in their mind, you know,
He was never getting out.
Which he might not have, but who knows?
I would not risk it.
No.
Would you risk it?
No.
If you're new to the country and somebody who's been there a long time is like, hey, you should wear this, I'm fucking wearing it. I don't need that guy knowing who the fuck I am. You know? Like, I don't want him to know who I am. And yeah, which ends up later in the movie, she gets a hit put out on her and almost gets killed. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that saves her is that bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
So should have wore the fucking mask. What's up, guys? Did you know that the Mentor program is now live? That's right, we're live. Go sign up now at the FNGAcademy.com. Click the mentorship program. We have 3 tiers. Tier 3, if you just want to support the channel or if you just want the exclusive content, it's $25 a month. We're doing weekly video drops on there, and it's the best way to help support us so we can keep doing what we're doing. Tier 2 is coaching in group sessions, and tier 1 is one-on-one coaching with a Green Beret. Those spots are currently full, but if you're interested in the one-on-one coaching, just sign up for the email list. We'll let you know when the spots are available so you guys can sign up. Thank you so much, and we look forward to helping you guys achieve your goals.
Guys, like, what is this noise?
I don't know about you, but did you guys have the screaming babies at Sears School?
At Sear? Yes, hell yeah.
Dude, did it bother you?
Yeah, so...
Okay, well, thank God.
The screaming babies, all the other things that we're playing, all of it, yeah, because you lose all your, like, sense of time, your perception of time, Like, you don't know. I swore I was in there for like 18 hours. I'd like to see how long I was in there.
I think it was only like a few hours.
Probably, yeah. It felt like I was in there for at least half a day, maybe more.
It's crazy because that box that they put you in is like a double-edged sword. Part of it is like once they shut that door, I feel better because even though I'm in a tight space, I know that they're not going to mess with me anymore.
Yeah, you're alone finally for the first time.
Yeah, so it's like it became a safe space. But the other part to that is when they started the babies crying, but it sounded like a baby. It didn't sound like a baby crying upset. It sounded like a baby getting hurt. It was like screaming. And so what I did was I had a thread from my nurse gown that they had us in. And I started pulling out the thread until I could ball it up and put it in my ears because I was really being bothered by the and then I go out to the yard and I'm like, guys, did you hear that? And they were like, no, dude, I slept. I was like, what?
I did not sleep.
They fucking were taking naps, dude.
Dude, it was cold as fuck when I went through. I was sitting on my bucket trying not to shiver. But so I do remember the baby, but not that much. I remember much more the rules that kept recycling on the radio. And then, you know, boots. That's what I really recall.
Dude, the baby, the hurting baby was like blaring, and I was literally taking this thing, packing it and shoved it in my ears. And then I took, because once it gets below a certain temperature, they have to give you a blanket to prevent hypothermia. So then once they gave me a blanket, I just shoved it underneath. I didn't use the blanket. I shoved it underneath the door.
To stop the sound?
I think I took my shirt off at some point and shoved it under the door.
Wow.
To stop the sound because I just wanted that sound to be deadened.
Yeah.
It was just loud enough to where I couldn't tune it out. And then I remember it was so cold, that breeze, when it would flow into underneath the door, it was like chilling.
You're just sitting there shivering the whole time.
And then they would threaten to spray water on you in that cold weather. And I was like, please, for the love of God,
like, no.
Don't you spray me with water.
So that, like, imagine being this person, right? They obviously, they don't listen to this music. To them, this is not music. This is just complete noise. So he's sitting there for hours and hours on end. No telling how long he's been chained up in there just hearing this. I'm sure he is just completely emotionally, mentally drained.
Completely drained.
Dude, you shit your pants? You stay here, I'll be back.
They drop his pants in front of the female. And that's something that he talks about a lot in Black Banners. If I can remember, again, it was 10 years ago. But from what I remember about Black Banners is that in those torture camps, they were using their religion to try and as a torture tactic. So like part of their Quran was in, please don't quote me, I'm just trying to go off 10 years of memory, but part of it was like not having the opposite sex see you naked. Part of it was that dogs are beneath you. Part of it was that like you don't want the same sex to see you naked. So there was just like a lot of like same sex, you know, seeing your genitalia and stuff like that. It was like a huge no-no.
Right.
So to them, it's really just taking you way down to like the level of garbage to have you know, seen naked in front of the opposite sex that's not your spouse. You're just demoralizing the shit out of them. And so that's what's happening when he leaves them alone naked in front of a female. It's more than just, hey, be embarrassed because of the size of your dick. It's way more than that. This is like a religious thing.
It's like the ultimate shame at that point.
Yeah, so you're really, really shaming them. And I'm sure there's more to it than that. If somebody knows about the Quran, please fill us in, because from what I remember from Black Banners, it was really, really intense. And the dog thing was a big issue. And the guys seeing each other naked was a big issue.
And yeah, you're talking about in Abu Ghraib, like the actual... Yeah, so if you're not familiar with what happened there, it became a big issue because photos got leaked of like prisoners being like basically stripped down naked and piled on top of each other in like a pyramid formation. You know, U.S. women are present at the time. There was other ones where they had prisoners like hands and knees with a dog, a military working dog, like basically holding him on his leash while the dog's like lunging at the guy. And once those pictures got leaked, it was a huge scandal in the military and in the State Department and all that.
Which they talk about in this movie. That was, most people probably missed it, but they mentioned Abu Ghraib in this movie.
This box here, this box sucks. But I'm gonna put you in it. Where's the attack? And when is the attack?
So he just took it too far with the guy. Mm-hmm. And to me, in SEER school, even though in SEER school you're just getting a taste of it, it's the closest that we've got. Mm-hmm. It's like there are points of no return. Like there are points where you're just so hungry, you're so tired, you've already been demoralized so much that it's like you give up.
Yeah.
You can care less about what's coming next.
I'll just die.
Yeah, and you just rather die, go to sleep, and never wake up. So I think that at this point, he's just got him too far to the point where it's like, you need to bring him back to caring about what he's losing. At this point, he doesn't care what he loses.
You're not getting anything of value out of this guy.
He's just pushed it too far.
He's going to withhold operational details on the KSM network and probably Bin Laden. But he's been in complete isolation. He doesn't know we failed. We could tell him anything.
What, bluffing?
He hasn't slept in. He's clueless.
After we kept you awake for 96 hours, you gave us the name of some of your brothers, and you helped save the lives of a lot of innocent people.
Which is the smart thing to do. You're starting to think for yourself.
There was an attack that carried out in Saudi Arabia. That's why they were torturing him, is to try and get that information for the attack. Mm-hmm. But then she had the idea that, he doesn't know that we don't know that. So he doesn't know that the attack got carried out. So let's convince him that in his sleep deprivation, he told us who was going to carry out the attack, and then we thwarted it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so that was fucking genius. I don't know if that's real or if that's for the movie, but that's fucking genius. So they're trying to interrogate him. They can't get the information out of him. The attack gets carried out. He's so sleep deprived, he doesn't know what's going on. So they just come up with the idea, let's just tell him that we thwarted the attack, it never happened, and thank him and
thank you for your service.
Thank you for helping us out. So that way he's like, well, fuck, I already did it when I was sleep deprived. And then they'll just continue to help him.
You too, come on.
Yep.
No.
Nasty monkeys. Where do we go to Nepal, dude? Fucking monkeys everywhere.
Ooh.
They're assholes, too.
You agency guys twisted.
Oh.
That's nasty.
That's nasty, dude.
I've seen Outbreak. Have you seen Outbreak?
No.
That's how you started.
Is that how it started?
Yeah, it was a monkey.
Bro, I'm pretty sure that's how COVID started.
A monkey? Probably.
Yeah, a monkey and his ass into someone's ice cream.
And chocolate ice cream.
This guy let a monkey eat his ice cream with his nasty little hands, and then he ate it. That's how fucking COVID starts.
You know monkeys like throw poop and stuff.
Yeah, they dig in their
disgusting.
ass, they eat it, they throw it at you. Monkeys are disgusting.
You did the UK bombings, right? You know, you're the second number 3 on capture. I got KSM. I'll be honest with you. I'm bad fucking news. I'm not your friend.
Oh, damn.
So this, to me, this is why he doesn't wear a mask and he never wears a mask, is like, he wants the word to spread about him and how terrible it is to be in his presence.
Yeah.
So that way, for all the, low-level guys that are scared, as soon as they see him and they recognize the white man with the curly hair that fucks you up.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
I better say something.
Yeah, just give him what he wants to know. So I think he's trying to spread that fear and spread that terror throughout everybody. And so that's why he doesn't wear a mask. It's very calculated. It's for a reason. He wants everyone to be terrified of him. He wants the word to spread. So, and then he asks him if he's hungry, and then he proceeds to force feed him through a fucking funnel into his mouth, which is, god awful. So, but
I can only imagine what's in that funnel.
Yeah, who knows what kind of shit that they're putting in there to just make his life absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
It's straight torture, and that's part of this movie that kind of blows my mind, is because he told her, when he was leaving, he was like, you don't want to be the last person holding the dog collar or whatever he said when they changed the policy. Mm-hmm. And that's how shit is it's all okay until it's not okay.
Yeah.
And the minute it's not okay, whoever is still doing it is fucked.
You're done.
You're fucked. And that's the terrifying thing. It's like, hey, you could do this. It's perfectly fine. And then new guys come in. This is how it is. It's perfectly fine. And it keeps going. And then that last person comes in. They're like, this is totally fine. And then, policy changes.
Yeah.
And they're like, You did what?
You're like, but he...
Oh, you're going to jail. And that's what happened to these people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them got charges from that base. A lot of soldiers got fired, got charges, all for doing stuff that was perfectly fine for years. But the minute policy changes, boom, you're the scapegoat. You're going to pay the price for what we've deemed okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, if the military is doing anything, it's because it was deemed okay from higher up. There's not like there's no bases everywhere. They're just running covert ops without telling their superiors. Like, that's not how we operate. It's a top-down system.
Yeah.
So if we're doing something, it's because we were given the blessing to do so. Unless it's like one rogue person by himself. Fucking bird doll.
Look, I'm responsible for everybody's safety, okay? It's not just about you.
I just need them to go away for a minute. You can search him as soon as he gets here.
Go ahead and stand down. Get your hand out of your pocket. Hey. Oh, come on. Hey! Take your hand out of your pocket! Hey. No! Come on. Take your hand out of your pocket!
This is the scene for the movie. For me, like, this is, besides the Bin Laden part, going to get Bin Laden, this is a big one. And so this book, Triple Agent, if you guys have any interest in knowing what happened really with that scene, this book is amazing. So Triple Agent. And when I went to open it, because I read it 10 years ago, I found a newspaper clipping that I left in here from February 13th, 2012. And the reason that I put this newspaper article in here is because it was for the husband. So CIA agent's death leaves doubts and family divided. CIA officer Jennifer Matthews was with husband Gary Anderson and their children. Anderson is upset by critics who have questioned Matthews' qualifications as chief of an Afghanistan CIA base that was the site of a suicide bombing in 2009, of which she was one of 7 victims. So this is an article that was written that I cut out and saved when I was reading this book, because obviously the backlash was that she somehow was the reason behind the bombing and that she was responsible for it. And what kind of upset me about the movie was that it was such a short clip about such a huge thing and a huge investigation and a huge thing, that they just made it look like she was a complete idiot and was like, oh, it's okay.
Let him in.
Let him in. What can go wrong? Screw your tactics. And then boom. But in reality, if you read this book, this guy was an insane operative. So this guy was a doctor. He was taking videos into high-level Taliban meetings. So at the time, no one had that kind of access. And he was taking video with like high-level Taliban leaders to show that, like, hey, look, I'm working for you. And in reality, he was playing multiple people. Like, he was just playing his own game. So the fact that they believed him was not that she was an idiot. It was because he was that good.
Yeah, he was working all sides.
Right. So he was working all sides and he played it perfectly. Like, everything checked out. And I know she said they had kind of like a discussion where it was like, oh, everything checked out and we'll kill him if we have to try and show that she's not a complete idiot. But at the end, they really emphasized the fact that she made him a cake. She told him to bypass security.
Yeah.
So they made her look like an asshole.
Right. They made her look like she was incompetent and just not good at what she was supposed to do.
Kind of like 13 Hours.
Yeah.
It's easy to play off military tactics versus intelligence. But at the end of the day, both of those things are super important. And both are the same sides on the same team. So it's hard to just be like, oh, these fucking idiots, if they would have just listened to security, when security could have blown an operation that could have found, and gotten good intel. We're on the same team. But in that, so the guys that passed away, so there was, from what I understand, it was Blackwater. So you had Dane Peresi was one of the oldest and most battle-hardened of the Americans at Coast. As a Green Beret, he had won a Bronze Star for his role in destroying a column of Al-Qaeda and Taliban fighters in eastern Afghanistan. Peretti had also recently joined Blackwater in hopes of building a nest egg for retirement. So one of those guys was a Green Beret. Then you had Jeremy Wise, who was 35, fought in Iraq, Navy SEAL. Before leaving the armed services in 2009, newly married with a young son, he received an offer to work for the security contractor XE Services LLC, formerly known as Blackwater. Wise traveled to Coast in mid-December 2009 as his first deployment protecting CIA operatives in Afghanistan. You have Harold Brown Jr., 37, was a one-time Army intel specialist who worked in private industry before returning to government to work for the CIA at Coast. His first overseas posting, he was invited to help evaluate the Jordanian informant Balawi, who claimed to have connections to Al-Qaeda's inner circle. And then you have Scott Robertson. So I'm pretty sure the guy portrayed in this was Scott, the guy that was like, hey, this is the security, this is how we do it. So 38, busted drug dealers as an Atlanta police officer and protected U.S. dignitaries in war-torn Iraq before joining the CIA in 2009. He became the head of security at Coast and sparred with the CIA manager over how to handle security for the planned meeting with Balawi. So clearly Scott was the one that was like, listen, I don't give a fuck who this guy is. This is how we go about it. But it's just, if you're interested in reading and understanding what actually happened with that and the details, pick up Triple Agent by Joby Warwick. It's a badass book. I loved it. And it really goes into depth just how insanely accurate and like trustworthy that guy truly was. Like he built out his entire resume from the time he was a kid to be able to do that bombing.
That's crazy.
It was not, this was not some jackass that just like walked around with the bomb.
Yeah.
Like this guy had planned this.
He'd been training his whole life, basically.
Like most of his adult life, if not his entire life, had been for this event. So look into that before you go judging her and saying that she was just a piece of shit, because there's way more to that story. And I imagine with a lot of the things that we talk about, the real events, there are more to the story. Like I just happened to read this book 10 years ago and come across this news article. But most people aren't going to do that,
Right.
you know, so that's a really important one.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And the director is very concerned. They will not stop until they have a body. I ran it. I'll defend it.
Woo! That's some big words for a program that's going down in flames.
So this is all about his like interrogation program or whatever?
Yeah. So he brings up, he's like, hey, ever since Abu Ghraib, whatever, he's like, we're fucked. And he's like, I ran it, I'll defend it.
Oof.
Could you imagine saying that? I ran it, I'll defend it. It's like, you don't want to defend that.
You might not. you might not want to.
Cut ties on that one. Like, you did that when it was okay. It's not okay anymore.
Nope.
There are two narratives about the location of Osama bin Laden. The one that you're most familiar with is that UBL is hiding in a cave in the tribal areas, that he's surrounded by a large contingent of loyal fighters. But that narrative is pre-9.
All right, first of all, I just didn't know Chris Pratt was in this. I don't remember Chris Pratt.
I was like, where did he come from?
Yeah, and I was like, this is probably where it all began.
Yeah.
He put on that uniform, was like, I'm never taking this bitch off. And from there, he's fucking Jack Carr's homie for life for every book.
Yeah.
So, good job, Chris Pratt. Really good job, Jack, for getting Chris Pratt on.
You bagged him.
He bagged him for life. He said, you want to be a SEAL? I got you.
Let's go.
So I just thought that was cool that Chris Pratt was in there. They pick... This is the one thing that just... It's hard to criticize SEAL Team 6 dev group because they're badasses. Like, it's not their fault. This was the... You know, they're trying to use a new helicopter. I don't know if the helicopter had anything to do with the crash. It was just the flight pattern, the way they flew it.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things that would have happened regardless. It was just physics.
It's just unfortunate because the one job you had and why they picked a tier 1 element was to get in and get out quietly.
Well, also, you can't say it's anything about SEAL Team 6. They're not the ones flying the helicopters.
Right.
That was 160th. And that was the tier 1 element of 160th.
Yeah, and I'm not blaming them. Shit happens. That's war. Shit happens. It just sucks that the one mission, the one thing reason you were there was to be stealthy.
It's like, we're gonna go a mile away from there, West Point. We're just gonna sneak in, sneak out. Nobody will know we're there.
Yeah. It is so like, and then you fucking crash the plane you crash the helicopter into the courtyard, and it's like, oh fuck.
Fuck. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
Fucking blow it.
Blow that shit up. Here's the thing. Luckily, it was Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
If it was not Osama bin Laden, could you imagine the shit show?
The blowback.
Blowback.
If he wasn't even there.
If he wasn't there,
God.
we would have had to explain to get people to understand why we crashed a top secret fucking helicopter into a compound in Pakistan.
Right. Yeah. Not a combat zone.
What?
No, me. I did that.
That's
It's like the interrogation at the beginning. He's like, you said a lot of things when you were half asleep.
Yeah, that's the point where you're like, who's ready to retire? And then you get a couple of hands up, like, all right, you guys were drunk, you stole the helicopter, and you flew it over Pakistan and crashed it. That's the story. We'll give you full pension. I'd be like, all right, I can fuck with that story. I can go on with that.
30 seconds to first turn.
Hey, Justin, what are you listening to? Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, really? You should listen to it. I got plans for after this. Big time. I want to talk to all you about it.
We know who that is.
So Chris Pratt is clearly, what's his name? O'Neill?
Robert O'Neill.
So clearly Chris Pratt's Robert O'Neill, and he's listening to Tony Robbins on the way to the Bin Laden raid. And
I
they're
got
like,
big plans after this.
I got big plans after this.
I'm gonna write a book.
I'm going to tell you guys all about it. How we're going to write a fucking book. It's going to be amazing. So I thought that was fucking hilarious how they threw that in there, that Rob O'Neill is listening to Tony Robbins about how he's got big plans and he's going to make his life great.
Yeah.
And then immediately Rob O'Neill's like, fuck the entire community.
I shot Bin Laden.
And then didn't he just come out with a tweet sounding like a super dick too?
Oh my God, yeah. Like,
let's read that tweet. Robert O'Neill. So we got a tweet.
Robert J. O'Neill. So he said, respectfully, my 2 silver stars, my 4 bronze stars with valor, the other shit on my chest should have a voice in this talk. Oh, I've been to the range too, and my fucking Bonnie armor has Bin Laden's blood on it. Call me vet, bro. Pussy.
Damn!
Yo, it's fighting words.
Yo, bro.
I want to know what that's in reference to. I don't know. It's like a random fucking tweet. Like, and I was looking through all his tweets. Like, I'm gonna find somewhere in reference, and it's nonsense. Like, one of them's like, I'm about to eat pizza. It's just like, and it's like 6 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 4 hours ago.
Robert O'Neill be eating that pizza, son.
It's like, I don't know who you're talking to right now. I'd like to think that he's portraying Robert O'Neill.
Yeah, he's gotta be, dude. I'm listening to Tony Robbins.
So it's a self-help about writing books.
Yeah, I got big plans. Big plans. He probably was writing the book on the plane to the Bin Laden raid. He was like, I'm gonna get fucking rich off this. Yeah. And then he already wrote in the book that he killed Bin Laden before he even got there. He was like, sorry guys.
You're in the stack going upstairs. He's like, get the fucking way.
Starts knocking people.
Move, bitch.
Tony Robbins says, dream big to live big. Get out of the way. Oh, what a fucking shit show. That's hilarious. Any respect I had for Rob O'Neill, that fucking tweet is like, dude, never say that. Never. Why? I got Bin Laden's blood on my uniform.
There's been so many too.
And to get Bin Laden's blood on his uniform, he probably like laid on him and was like fucking.
Like, yo, Rob, what are you doing? I got big plans.
They're for DNA test. He's sticking his finger in there and fucking wiping it dry.
On the helicopters are taking the body back. Like,
what
get your
a
finger out of him.
What a shit show. So that's the gate going up to Bin Laden's place.
Moving to level 2.
Damn.
Echo 02. Moving to deck 3.
No whipping, huh?
Osama! Down. Alright, get it! Got a possible jackpot.
Everybody's got to get their licks at this point.
Yeah, so,
Jackpot.
all right, guys. They got jackpot. Osama Bin Laden. Now, who actually pulled the trigger? is anyone's guess.
Depends on what book you read.
Yeah.
Depends on which book you read.
Depends on who's authoring that book.
Or who's next to you at the bar.
Yeah, so, but who cares? Shit was awesome. It sucks that they crashed the helicopter in there.
Yeah.
There was some Hollywood things. I know if you guys are waiting for us to break down some of the tactics stuff from the Green Beret perspective. One thing that I saw was like when they would stack on a door, he did his command for breacher, and then he yelled, "Breacher!"
Why do this if
well, you're not going to yell breacher. So I think that's just a Hollywood thing that they threw in there like, hey, what is this? Well, that's what we do for breacher. Breacher's up. Well, just yell breacher, says it sounds cool. Like, okay. So everything that anyone that does hostage rescue is going to know that you want to be as quiet as possible, and your team is going to know how to operate without saying a fucking word.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to be completely efficient and move efficiently without saying a word. So they can get from the outside to the inside, some bangs, some breaches, but not a peep.
Yeah.
And signals is how you're going to operate. And they have that stuff well fucking, coordinated and well established and well, practiced. So they're not going to have to say, breacher. So anyway, that was kind of the only Hollywood thing that I saw. Just paying attention to that end shooting scene. Other than that, it seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who shot Bin Laden? I guess that's up to, Rob and what he says.
Whoever talks the loudest, I guess.
And I did think it was kind of shitty about the book that he came out and he was like picturing their equipment and breaking it down. I think he went a little far with that, but hey, man, you got bills to pay, I guess.
Got bills to pay,
whatever. Got to do what you got to do. We're all kind of in that game a little bit.
Yeah.
And we all just set our own line as to how far we want to go with what we're willing to talk about. So everyone is different. I'm sure if I would have shot Bin Laden, I probably would have said something.
Yeah, me too. We'd be on the same mission. Like, I shot Bin Laden. I shot Bin Laden. Let's break it down.
Yeah, and if I published my book before yours, then technically, we could just both shot Bin Laden.
Well, I mean, it looks like multiple people shot Bin Laden.
Multiple people shot Bin Laden.
They're not all wrong.
Right. So, all right, guys, there is Zero Dark 30. There is a ton to unpack in that movie.
I like this movie. It was a good movie.
It's a good movie. I don't think, I wouldn't go full political and be like, oh, they're trying to say that torture is a good thing. Listen, torture, whether it's a good thing or not a good thing, it is what it is. And part of this movie, what I think they do a good job of showing is the pressure that is on the CIA and the FBI to get fucking answers. Mm-hmm. When you have innocent civilians and innocent people's lives on the line, you will go to any lengths to get the answers to try and stop those deaths. So that is what they're showing, and that's what I think they showed in this movie, is what we were willing to do to save innocent lives and to save American lives. So yes, we will try torture, we will try empathy, we will try fucking everything we could do to get that information. So if you're interested in that, Black Banners, he takes the approach of having empathy, using knowledge, the Quran, which I don't think anyone would argue with. That if you know their religion, you could use it, you could manipulate them with their religion, empathize with them through their religion, that's going to be a positive thing. But I think that he had the benefit of growing up a Muslim and having that, knowledge, and to be able to speak their language, that's a huge advantage. Yeah. That's not something you could just pass off to everyone and be like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do. First, we're going to learn Arabic. And then we're going to study the Quran for years. And then we could use that to gain the trust of these people. So he had a one-up on his competition, but everyone has different tactics. You use, whatever skill set you guys have. So I think it's a cool movie. Yeah. Unpack it what you will. Try to read Triple Agent if you can. I think it'll highlight a lot of things, and it's just a really good book. It's amazing what they went through with that guy. So, all right, guys, we're gonna eat some steaks and get ready for tomorrow's seminar. Talk to you guys later.